and pancakes, and then I had this donut that was delicious, and I'm just going through her thing right now, and I'm just like, every time she posts it, like during a weekday, I'm like, Katy, why are you doing this to me right now?
Yeah.
Welcome to the Weird Flex But Okay podcast. It's Elmo today. I'm here with my co-host. How are you doing, Katy?
Oh, God.
Katy,
What is this?
Come on.
I'm scared.
Weird Flex But Okay podcast.
Well, if Elmo's just gonna jump right into it, I guess we will too. Hey guys, welcome to the Weird Flex But Okay podcast, your comedy, weebs, workouts, and advice podcast where we answer your questions. If you would like to submit a question, you can email us at weirdflexbutokaypodcast@gmail.com. The music that you've heard in every episode so far was made by What's My Name on Instagram and Soundcloud. Please go check them out. They just released a new song, a little Undertale rendition, which is really neato. Highly recommend. And, yeah, we're doing it. We're live, and I'm back. I'm not sick anymore.
Yeah, she was
Elmo
sick
cured
last
me.
week. Yeah, she was sick. I reread the beginning of the story, and she almost said the wrong word.
Dude, that is some quality, advice you just gave, Elmo. I totally understood every word that you said, and I believe every single thing you've ever said ever is a gospel.
Totally. I miss Jaxblade.
Yeah, I think he died in, a really tragic cookie accident. You know, Cookie Monster can get a little stingy. Yeah, and Jordan
What the fuck are you doing to my room?
Oh, Jordan's back!
Get
Shit!
out of here. I told you.
Jordan,
we'll play
it's
later.
not what it looks like.
No, please, let me stop.
Jordan, no!
Later.
Please!
Later, go.
Don't hurt him.
All right. I'm sorry about that, kid. He's just been doing that this week.
Hey, Jordan, I totally didn't start it without you. Totally wasn't
didn't?
just talking
You
to
didn't
Elmo or
start-
anything.
You better not have.
No,
what the hell's
no.
going on? You better.
No, I would never-
Are we recording? Why is my freaking audacity?
I would never
Elmo,
do
what
that.
did you do?
Ah!
Oh my! This is gonna be weird to listen back to. Alrighty, guys, welcome to the Weird Flex. But okay, wait, she already said this, didn't she? Wow.
No.
Okay. Wow. I just felt like I did nothing.
I
Wow,
would
go
never
ahead,
lie
talk.
to you, Jordan.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
About
Exactly.
anything.
That's why you say you love me every day. That's a lie.
Hey, Jordan, have you checked your refrigerator? Is it running?
You know why I'm laughing? Because I actually did this prank on someone this week.
You better go catch it!
Yeah, I did like the Grinch though, where I called them, and I was just like, "Is your refrigerator?" And I acted all serious with it, and I was just like, "Yeah, we're with the company that made your refrigerator. It has to ask you something. Is the electricity running? Yeah, it's going on. Are the light bulbs working? Yes. Is it running? It seems to be working just fine. We better go catch it." Got him! And then,
Jordan, I just wanted to let you know that I think dry erase boards are one of the most remarkable inventions of all time.
I get it. Remarkable. I get it. Yeah, you see it because it's a park with the fun. She's learning well. She's learning.
It's so good to be back, guys. Oh, man, I've been sick for I was sick for a few days, and that was not a good time, y'all.
Of me.
But Huh?
Oh, she was sick of me, folks. That's
Oh,
why she
yeah,
wasn't
I
here
was just,
last week.
real sick of Jordan. That's why I brought Elmo onto the show, because I thought he could liven... I mean, I didn't do that.
What?
Anyway, so I was sick, and I'm better now. Jordan, feel bad for me. I was sick. Oh, man.
I was
Jeez.
sick, too.
Ooh.
So what the heck?
Ooh-wee.
Sick of your
yeah.
nonsense. Oh, got her.
He was feeling a little fatigued after the con last week, but
I was
really nice.
sick prior because I had it was almost sick because when I got home from KaniDay, I was first day I was fine, but then I started noticing little cold symptoms coming. I was like, oh shit, no.
Yeah.
So I spam my body with vitamin C, garlic, ginger, and echinacea, and that it made me not get sick to a point where I was coughing and throwing up snot and stuff like that. And I also slept on one of those wedge pillows, which if you're sick, always use a wedge pillow. It'll make your sickness go away super fast. But I was just fatigued. I was just tired. It was weird. I wanted energy, but I didn't have it. And it sucked. It was horrible.
Yeah. Well, besides all that, what have you been doing in the past week?
Meditating, yes.
Totally,
Working.
Meditating.
Yeah, exactly. What else did I do? I took a break from YouTube for a little bit, just for a little mental health thing. I just wanted to make sure that because I don't want to like overdo something to a point where it's like, oh, I'm just not feeling it this week.
Yeah.
So it's just like you take a break, but then like, that I had to delete that sign that shows you got this many subscribers today. You lost this many subscribers today. So I was just like, yep, I need to take a break for a bit. And then like I came back and I'm working on my new script, which I know Katy will like when the video's up because it's on someone she cares for. And it's gonna be fun. So yeah, stay tuned for that on my channel, Jaxblade. That'll be super fun. But how about you, freaking Pippi Longstocking? How are you doing?
Oh man. Well, when I was sick, I played a lot of Persona 4, which was, I'm not gonna lie, that was a majority of what I did while I was just sitting there all sick and stuff. But yeah, that actually brings me into some stuff I wanted to talk to you about today. This weekend in particular, I not only watched Avengers Endgame, I watched the Game of Thrones season 8 episode 3, which is like the big battle. So we're gonna be talking about that in this episode, so there's gonna be spoilers.
Yeah, so if you haven't gone, what are you doing with your life? Just go watch the freaking Avengers movie.
Get out there. This is coming out at least a week later.
Go, exactly. You should see it by now. What's
but
wrong
I
with you?
also beat Persona 4. Actually, this morning I beat Persona 4 because I got up at I woke up at 8 a.m. for some reason, and I was like, wow, I feel so energetic. I'm going to go beat Persona because I only had a little bit left, and so I just beat it, and I was like, oh. And I'll talk about that more in a bit, too. But yeah, I think for this first part of the podcast, we're going to be talking about all of those adventures, and then we'll get into some questions when we get to maybe the halfway point. Depending on how it goes, we'll see. We're just gonna do it because I have a lot of things I want to say, and I'm sure Jordan, if he hasn't already talked about it on one of his other mini podcasts.
Oh, I've talked about it. Like literally, what's funny is after this, I'm doing the POS podcast with Paylor Sabres podcast.
Yeah.
So it's literally gonna be like, oh, you talk about this here, you talk about this here. I talk about it in my own video on my channel. I talk about it, so it's just like I'm gonna be all talked out, but it's good. I like
Dude, yeah, we're gonna get all of the talks out. It's gonna be awesome. So why don't we start out talking a little bit about something we both witnessed, that Avengers Endgame.
Yes,
that
Avengers
hype.
Endgame. Oh my God, this is one of the biggest oh my God, I'm so grateful I've been following since 2008 because I remember a bunch of my friends in high school, they were actually making Facebook posts about it. I shared on my Twitter, but it was like I remember back in the day when Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk came out, and I just thought they were good superhero movies, and then I heard Jordan talking about freaking the possibility of the Captain America, Thor, and Avengers, and he was just like, I thought it was just nerd wishful thinking, and then I didn't believe any of it, and I didn't know what any of it meant, but then you saw what it was, and he was like, wow, it's paid off tremendously. And that's the cool thing is like just following it for so many years, like the last decade, and then just seeing it grow has just been an incredible ride and experience. So I just really appreciate it more. And then also I rewatched all the movies prior to Avengers Endgame, so I had all the stuff went in fresh, and so that's the cool thing about it, is they literally reference every movie prior to freaking Avengers Endgame. They reference, so it's just if you've seen them all, you're like, oh crap, that's from, wow, that is really obscure. I did not think they would bring it. Oh my God, wow. It's just though some parts are just sort of oh, well, they kind of spoiled this movie for you if you haven't seen that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually in the camp of I hadn't seen every movie. I've seen none of Captain America. So a lot of that went over my head. So so there were a lot of scenes in the movie that I understood why they're significant, how they're paying respects to these characters, and I understand that people are very emotional about these scenes because they invested in these characters, but I personally didn't have that investment in certain characters, so I didn't feel what a lot of other people were feeling. I think the big moments for me in the movie, as someone who is more of a casual fan, I've seen Avengers movies and I've seen a few other character movies, but not a lot. I'm definitely not on the level where I've seen them and know them by heart.
Well, people, this is the final episode of the Weird Flex podcast, but thank you.
Hey, you knew I was a weeb from the start. You knew I was only a weeb.
Has to be oh, I only watch Japanimation, not this whatever this is. This is American weeb stuff. I don't like this.
But I totally love and respect it, and I think that there's so much heart that goes into it, and I think this movie had so much payoff. Just seeing how emotionally invested it seemed to pay a lot of respect for these characters. Even if I wasn't super amazingly invested, it got me invested through what I've seen alone. Like, and I felt like they were so respected. Like, everybody really got their scene. Like, I'm gonna say some spoiler things here now, guys. So
all right, so we're gonna give you a hint. 3, 2, 1.
When Doctor Strange showed up bringing the whole army, that was one of the first moments in the movie where I was like, oh shit, fuck yeah.
I was screaming.
And then, and then, like, when Captain Marvel just shot through the ship, oh my god, I was just dying. Like, all of her moments in that movie they were a lot for me. Because I've seen her movie, and I really like her. And then every scene with Peter Parker where he was like, I'm Spider-Man. I was like,
Spider-Man,
oh my god.
Let's go kill mode.
Yes.
That was dope.
And then with Thor and his mom, like, I didn't know much about that situation, but I do, I understand the relationship between his son and her mother.
Yeah, she got killed in Thor too. And that was like one of the worst like MCU films. So it was like funny to go back to it and relive it. And then it's just like, no, you gotta let your mom die in this scene. So like it was crazy how she barely talked or did anything in the first 2 movies because they're fresh in my head. So like she did some stuff, like she would give some like kind words, but she didn't really do much. But then it's just like this was like a nice little, let's give her the respect she deserves, and she's not here anymore.
I really loved that line that she had about like everybody fails at what they're supposed to be, but you'll always surpass what you are. You'll always be good at who you are. And I was like, that was really deep. It was a really good moment.
Yeah,
and
it was good because it was funny too how like Thor like let himself like go, and he like let himself like get all fat and shit like that. And
he was just all Lebowski'd.
Yeah, he was all Lebowski'd, and he was playing Fortnite, and he was just like, Master 65. Now listen here, child. I will come to your house. It was just like, that was brilliant. Yeah.
And Zach even told me that like it was a reference to like Norse mythology about how trolls, like apparently in Asgard or something, like
Asgard.
He would Asgard, sorry. Asgard, that's Undertale. I'm sorry, I'm a casual Marvel fan. This is no. So when he was telling me about how like trolls were apparently a big problem that he would fight, he was having to fight a troll in the game, so it was like apparently a cheeky reference there. Like Zach told me about all the cheeky references, and I was like, oh, that's really cool, because Zach like has every comic and knows every Marvel Cinematic Universe and everything like the back of his hand.
Yeah.
Like so he's like my walking encyclopedia, which makes me happy because I can be like, oh, what is this? And he'd be like, oh, well, actually in this issue, and I'm just like, yes, tell me more. And I thought that was really cool. And I think even for casual fans that it did a lot, and I genuinely felt like so much love and happiness during that movie. But I think for the first half of the movie, really up to the point with Doctor Strange, and then of course the point with Black Widow and
that's like the first 2/3 of the movie if you say up till Doctor Strange.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't think of like the timeline. It's a long movie.
Yeah.
But like up until Doctor Strange, it was more of like funny for me, like, because there were a lot of good comedic moments, but they would do some time travel stuff, which, oh my god, that was great. But some of the time travel stuff had some moments that I'm sure were very deep. But when Captain America was looking through the blinds, I was like, who is that lady? Who is that, like his mom? Like,
no,
I had no idea. I mean, Zach explained it to me later, and then like told me the significance of him dancing with her at the end, etc. And I was like, oh, that's really romantic. But I had no clue. And of course, I'm not going to be that person that in the middle of the movie just goes,
"Who's she?
That? Who's she?"
Yeah,
like, I'm not going to do that. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to put some puzzle pieces here together. I'm not getting anything. Okay, cool. You're not going to tell me. All right. That's why I liked the scene with Thor's mom, because I was like, that's his mom, because he literally was like, that's my mom. Like,
right.
So I was like, okay, yeah, it was easy for me to follow in a lot of sense, but I understand it was supposed to be more of a love letter for the real fans.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate that I was able to get a lot from that movie, and I really did, like, because I've seen all the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff, so those scenes really, really hit me strong, and I wish we would have gotten more with, like, Star-Lord and Gamora.
Yeah.
But we only got, like, Yeah. We only got a little bitty baby scene with them, but we got a lot with Nebula and Thanos, of course. Dude, can we talk about how in the first, 15 minutes, Thanos gets yeeted?
Oh, yeah, that was funny. Because it was just like, oh, shit, they're going to resolve this that fast? Okay, and then they, go to a black screen for, 15 seconds. So it was like, is that the movie over? Is that it? Okay, yeah.
Right. They lied about it being 3 hours. It's actually 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's 3 and then 3 hours of credits. That's what it would be.
Yeah.
It was crazy. But that was funny because he was just living like Shrek in the woods, in his swamp, and he was just doing his thing, putting all the stuff away, and then he just walks in there and he just minding his business. That was an interesting thing. That was really cool because that happens in the comics too from now in time where he's just minding his business. But I thought that was a good way, and it was just oh no, I already destroyed everything. I destroyed this, destroyed that. That was funny because I loved how they just wasted no time. It was just oh, I see him. He's just alone.
It really lets you into his psyche, the God complex that he has, like how even after the fact he's oh, I destroyed the stones, they would only be temptation, as if he still is in the right on his moral compass. Even still, his mindset is still, I am truly blessed and have done a great deed, and I am humble, and it's whoa.
But then at the end, his past self acts more like super villainish, where he's just I'm going to enjoy eradicating your planet. And it's just okay, well, you're kind of undoing all the stuff because if you look at Thanos, there are certain things that he does in Infinity War where you're okay, he says he's not pure evil, and there's certain scenes that show oh no, I'm doing this to be balanced and stuff like that. But then in certain scenes there's no, you're very clearly evil, you're enjoying killing Loki right now.
Because even evil people can still love. Of course you love your daughter. That doesn't make you a not fucking evil villain.
Right. But it was just I did how they almost did that thing where they're oh, maybe Thanos is right, where Steve is talking about oh, I saw a pod of whales come by, all the less pollution means that they're just able to go through. I thought was great. That was a great thing right there. That made me laugh. I was wait, what are you talking about? But then the whole thing of how they dealt with the drama of oh yeah, everyone's gone, and then there are certain aspects that they don't bring up again, which I thought was interesting, the whole earthquake thing where they're oh yeah, these earthquakes are happening all around the world, what are we going to do about it? Nothing. They're earthquakes, but it's they're happening all around the universe, and that never gets brought up again. And I was just that was a bit interesting because I love the film, but there are times you look at it and you go, because if you overthink the film you'll ruin it for yourself, because there's a scene at the end where Steve goes back to put the stones back, and he's an old man sitting on the bench. So it's just so did you just not fight with the Avengers for this, or did you just avoid these?
Well, I think that they talk about, I mean, there was one quote in the movie that I think tries to justify that, but it can be this or there, and it was kind of your future, your past. Your future becomes your past, or no, your present becomes your past, and then the timeline that you go to becomes your future. So essentially, that would mean that Captain America did all of that stuff, and then when he time traveled, he's in a new dimension, so that becomes his new future. So now it's
see, time travel's always
it's not an
icky
exact
that way.
science, it's movie time travel.
That was funny how they made fun of all the movie time travel, oh, Terminator 2, Back to the Future, Hot Tub Time Machine, and it's just
but it's still funny how on the surface level this is just a time travel movie,
no, it was a time heist movie.
On the surface level, time heist movie.
Mm-hmm. And then I love the whole thing of War Machine saying why don't we just go back and kill baby Thanos and stuff like that, because that's actually a comic thing where the Punisher tried to do that, where you're I'm just gonna go back and wipe out Thanos, but then he ends up it's a whole storyline. People, you can go check it out. But that was a funny little reference, because it's just oh, that's horrible. He's what? He's an evil person. Kill him. But then that whole fight scene, the whole epic war scene, that was just the hypest thing ever, because it was just first off, it's so impactful because Captain America's standing alone and he's just seeing Thanos and his armies, and so when you just see that thing come up, and then Wakanda forever, you see Black Panther come out, and then you see all the people, and it's just the hypest thing, and it's just Avengers assemble. Though, like,
Yes.
my friend made a funny joke about it. He was just like, Avengers, assemble. What did he say? What are we supposed to do? Like, I can't hear him. He whispered it. It's just like, let's go fight. And then, like,
yeah.
I liked when all the women were standing together and they're like, don't worry, we got your back. And then they
hell yeah,
just
hell
charged.
yeah.
That was dope. Or then
Dude, I think everybody had like their own really respectful character moment. Like Captain America, he got to slap around and have like a really cool moment with Thanos. And then Captain Marvel, her moment with Thanos, he had
she
to
just
literally
ate that headbutt.
Dude, yeah, she was like, bitch, and he couldn't with the gauntlet alone like push her off. He had to remove a stone to fuck her up. Like that's how much it took.
Yeah, exactly. That was so great. But then, like, there are certain scenes I just like, even though it is Disney, so it's just like, with Disney, you have an unlimited budget, so do what you want to do. Like, I sort of wanted Hulk to have a moment where he just, like, snaps out of it, where he's just like, okay, fuck this Bruce Banner shit. You know what? I need to unleash my full power, and then, like, have his, like, because in the comic books, he has this thing where he goes World Breaker Hulk, where he just loses all rationale, and then he, like, punches, and, like, the planet, like, breaks in two. So it's just like, I wanted him to, like, just lose it and be like, oh, yeah, whatever. Because I know they were saying in the last movie that the reason Hulk doesn't want to fight is because he just feels like Earth doesn't appreciate him. He doesn't feel like the Earth, like he's tired of saving the Earth from all this stuff. But that, again, that sort of feels like they're Hulk's on a burner account saying, no, I wasn't scared of Thanos. What happened was I just don't want to help. It's just like, dude, you got your ass whooped. Well, Thor kept getting his ass whooped and kept coming back. So it's just like, that was funny. And then another thing, like Thor's power is a bit like, because it's like, okay, so Thor in Thor in Infinity War got beat up by Two Stone Thanos, but then Thor with Stormbreaker is able to like bring Thanos to his knees, full gauntlet, and almost kill him. And then in this movie, Thanos has no gems, but Thor has to use, he's dual wielding Mjolnir and Stormbreaker and fighting, and it's just like, I guess he really did get out of shape then, because
one of my friends they very much love some Thor. They were kind of upset that they took away all of that character development that Thor had been garnering over the years in the cinematic universe, and just made him a fat, lazy guy, like, after the time skip. I know it was supposed to have, like, consequences, for what happened, and he gets that, but it was more so like that they really just, for that fight, made him so easy to slap around after all he'd been through. Yeah. And was kind of upset about that, which I can see.
No, I was upset too, because it was just like Thor went from like that scene in Infinity War where he was just like, oh shit, oh you guys are fucked now, Thor's here, and then like in this movie, again I'll just put it to like, oh, he hasn't trained, he hasn't done anything for like the last couple months, so it's just like, okay, I guess this is what would happen to him. Yeah. But it's like It was a really cool like fight scene and stuff like that, but again I just feel like, oh, he probably just didn't have the cardio, and then like there were certain ways that didn't make sense to me. For instance, like Iron Man in the last movie was able to like damage Thanos a lot, where like he was like in his nano suit, and then like he was able to draw blood. And he was just like, oh, I effed you up. But that was Thanos with like, what, 4 gems or 4 stones? And then like in this movie, again, I feel like he has no stones, and he should have been putting up a better fight. Because he's like, without his stones, he's like a big, strong, like, because MCU Thanos is way different than like comic Thanos, of course. So it's just like, if they're able to do that, then him, Cap, and Thor should just like wreck no stone Thanos. But it's just, that was a little inconsistent to me. But I thought the movie, like, that entire scene, like, was just epic. And then, like, you get the hype brain and you feel great about it. Yeah. And then, like, Hulk in the movie, I feel like, I like that they did Professor Hulk. Because it was, like, it is a cool way just to bring him in. And it's just like, oh, yeah, like, you like that? Oh, dab on him. Stuff like that.
Dab
that was
on him.
Take the goddamn phone. You want a picture with Ant-Man? Come on, I'll take it for you. No, take it for you.
I love Ant-Man. I want Ant-Man and Spider-Man to have a movie together.
Well, they did right now. You just saw it.
No, I want them to have a buddy cop film. I want them to go on secret missions together.
Oh, God.
I love Tom Holland and then him. No, not just because they're bugs. It's cool that happens to be a convenient sector there, but just their actors and the way that their characters are represented, specifically at this time, I really enjoy them individually, and I think as a team, their comedy would just be gold because they're very fun, silly characters, and their actors do a great job at showcasing it. And I think they would just have a great dynamic. And then, of course, you throw in the one like character that's all like gritty and smoking cigars, but then those two are just like, yeah. So like, I don't know. I'd love to see them team up.
Okay, that would be cool. That would be like pretty cool. And then like. I guess we could talk about the big thing, like the whole thing with Tony.
Yes.
That made me like...
That was my big cry moment.
No, I cried because like it's literally, I've been following this for so long and just seeing them like just all over the years, and the fact that like he had a family and he didn't want to do it, but he did it anyways. And then like he just... Oh, God. But that whole scene, like, I am Iron Man, and he snapped. Like, the whole theater for me went quiet, and then in the background you could hear the... You just hear that in the background, those little sniffles happening, and that was me. I was with my friend too, and like man tears were dropping, and I looked over at him, and man tears were dropping from him too.
Oh yeah,
we were just oh no! And then the funeral that got me too, and then they like brought in
definitely.
Like that kid from Iron Man 3, and I was just like, oh God, they brought him in, they remembered him, like oh God, that was. That I will say that entire way Robert Downey Jr. played Tony Stark was just beautiful. Like it was just absolutely he is that character. Like he is Iron Man. He is Tony Stark. Like he is so great at what he's done.
Yeah, I heard that just a cute little reference Zach told me about was when the daughter said that she wanted cheeseburgers. It was because in the first movie, Tony Stark, when he came back to Earth, was like, I'm not doing a goddamn thing till I get a cheeseburger.
Yeah, and then here's another throwback to that that's actually based on real life, because prior to 2008 and 2007, I believe, Robert Downey Jr. had that like strong drug problem where he was like just a constant like drug addict. And what happened was he went to Burger King and got a cheeseburger and was sitting down. He had a car full of drugs, and he was just he was sitting down eating his burger, and he couldn't taste it. And he was just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, what is the point of this? And so he dumped all his drugs in like the river, and then like got on track. And that's what's funny. Like he actually, so that's the parallels of Tony Stark and that character. So it's just like that's like a beautiful thing.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So it was like Tony and him have very much parallels, so I'm happy he was able to do it now. And it's just like, you won. Like, honestly, if this was the final Avengers movie, like final MCU movie, they're like, all right, guys, we're just gonna, take a break. Even though I know Spider-Man Far From Home is coming in, Guardians 3 and Black Panther 2 and all that stuff, I'd be happy. I'd be satisfied. Like, just, hey, you guys won. You won everything. Like, you guys take a long break, because, like, I was talking to some friends about this before, where it goes, I am not... if they decided like with phase 4 they want to do like, all right, well now it's time to build up to the next villain for 10 years, and just I'm not ready for that yet, because it's spectacle fatigue. Like you'll get like the thing of like, all right, I've had my full course meal, give me some hors d'oeuvres that I'm just I can take
you've gotten like enough payoff, because God, that movie was nothing if not payoff. Like for so many characters, so much relief, like so much tension snapped, so much resolved, so much love. I really felt it in the air around that movie, and I'm really glad that I got to experience that. Yeah. But I think I want to move on to talk about Game of Thrones now.
Okay. Talk about it.
Talking about it. So I've been following Game of Thrones for a long time now, actually. And this recent episode, warning guys, major spoilers gonna happen here. And Jordan also watched the episode, but he hadn't been like keeping up with the series and stuff.
I don't have to. I have YouTube clips, and I watched the first 2
that's
seasons.
Fair. But essentially, in this recent episode was a battle that had been like anticipated for 8 seasons. Like this was going to be the big, like yes, it's called Game of Thrones, so it's more about the goddamn chair. But honestly, one of Jon's points was that, like, the battle against the Night King was going to be more important, because this is literally humanity, like, at stake versus a goddamn chair, which, of course, is important, and we're going to get that. But, like, the stakes just seem higher here, and I wish that they would have really showcased that more, because in this episode, it's been talked about so much, and Jon's been, speculated to have this great battle with him for so long. And in this episode, I think one of my favorite moments was the fact that Arya stole the kill. But one of the things that left me unsatisfied was that John didn't get to play a single part in it. Like, I think that what they did with John's character during that entire battle was very lackluster for the expectations and the anticipation that had been put on it. Because I wish, even there was one moment where John was like chasing the Night King, and then the Night King turned around and summoned a bunch of dead people, and John just kind of got slapped around by them for a little bit. But if John could have at least exchanged one sword blow with the Night King, instead of the Night King just walking around looking all
doing
fierce.
That come at me, bro thing.
Yeah,
He raises the dead.
His entire, like, the Night King's entire presence throughout the series has only been, like, giving stern looks. There's never been a moment where he truly showcased his fighting ability, like how big of a threat he is in that sense. He's only been showcased as, like, I bring people back and then everybody has to fight them. Fuck you. Like, and yes, he withstood the fire of the dragon, but and a lot of people that I know, there's a lot of people that thought nothing wrong with the episode. They loved it. And that's wonderful. Be excited about things. But some of my qualms were that because of the hero that John's been built up to be, and I'm sure he's going to get his moments to shine in the next episodes and whatnot, and he's had plenty of moments, but for this specific battle, I think them not at least letting him have a moment to fight with the Night King, even if he gets defeated, not necessarily killed, but even if he gets, like, knocked down and he wants to fight on, like, just, and he's willing to sacrifice himself for it. Like, if he could have just had that moment and then Arya come in and snipe it, that would have been amazing for me. And then, like, one thing that also could have been cool was the idea of, like, different houses showing up to defend Bran. So, like, a representative of each house showing up to fight the Night King, and the Night King can wipe the floor with him. Just draw your sword, Night King. Do something. Do, like, a prideful thing where, like, you draw your sword and try to do some shit, and then you beat all their asses, but then at the last minute Arya can come in and snipe it, because I love Arya so much. Like, if the whole series was just about her, I would honestly still love it. Right. But, like, it just felt like they didn't give us that resolution for John that I wish we would have gotten. And there's 3 more episodes. We're going to get more of him. But that particular moment was something I wish he would have gotten a snippet of, instead of hiding behind a rock and running around in circles the whole episode. And then with the Night King, because of what he was built up to be, I just wish he would have drawn his sword and done a little fighting instead of just making faces at the camera. Right. That was my complaint. The rest of the episode, aside from the fact that I couldn't see what was happening for a little bit in the first half.
Either. I thought something was wrong with my TV because I barely watched it.
Me too!
I was like, is there something wrong with my TV here? And I was like adjusting the brightness and stuff like that. I was like, nope, it's fine.
Yeah. And, like, I'm not trying to hate on any Arya stans or anybody that just, like, loved the episode. Because, of course, if you like something, like, I'm not going to shit on you for liking something. I just wanted to voice, unless it's murder. Unless it's murder of the Night King. Okay. But, like, yeah, I just felt like that was kind of an opinion that I hadn't been seeing out there. But as I've talked about it more, I've heard more and more people that are like, yeah. Like, especially when I was watching it last night with Zach and our friend Matt, we were all just kind of like, I felt a little bit of an empty feeling, but I still liked the episode, and I loved that Arya got her moment. Like, so I was still pretty happy, but my friends were, like, really sad because they'd been loving John so much and wanted him to have, like, a moment here. And so they were, like, upset, and were just like, and, like, they're pretty much Arya stans too. They're just like, I fucking love some Arya, but it just felt like for one episode to resolve this felt a little too quick. Like, sorry, I've been ranting here. What are your thoughts, Jordan?
No, it's okay. Like, you're the one who kept up with the show, so it's the opposite of the Avengers thing. I was the one who kept up with that. Yeah. So it was like, now it's Katie's turn to talk. For me, as someone who rarely watches but knows most of the characters, like, I know Tyrion, I know Daenerys, I know Jon Snow, I know Cersei, I know, like, Jaime, I know, like, various characters. Arya, again, like, I watched the first season, and then I fell off. I can't remember when I fell off, but whatever. I just kept up just by from podcasts I listened to of people talking about it or various things, so I, like, pretty much knew what was going on. So this was the one time I was just like, oh crap, an epic fight, like, I'll watch that. Like, I know most of the characters, and I'm just worried about, like, Dragon Bay and freaking Arya. I don't want them to get it, so I was interested. I thought it was kind of crazy how fast I wiped out the Dothraki, because the Dothraki were usually the ones that are like, oh yeah, these are the powerhouses. You don't want to fuck with these guys. They will like F your shit up. And then like they just sent them all out, and then, you know, White Walkers are like, oh, bye, kid. And they just like freaking owned all of them. I was like, oh crap, that was crazy. But then like you go to the thing where Daenerys and all the people are fighting in the tower, and it like, I will say I did think more people were gonna get it. Like I knew the Hound wasn't gonna get it because his story wasn't done, and I knew like Tyrion wasn't gonna get it because his story wasn't done. You know, stuff like that. There are certain characters who are just like, I know you're safe. Like the ones I was worried about were like Arya, or if like the, you know, Night King decided I want to kill Daenerys or something like that. How that we're gonna use for Cersei?
I definitely agree.
Yeah, because I think the problem is now, from what I know about the show and what I've been watching, I think the problem is that you went from going, like you said earlier, they went from fighting all this like stuff for the world, like, oh crap, if Night King wants to take over the entire world, it'd be some shit. But like here, after this is sort of like, all right, well, we're just gonna fight a bunch of humans and a big zombie or something like that. So it's just like, yeah, okay, it's just it's like, it's sort of underwhelming in the grand scheme of things. Like if it was like the final thing where it's like, oh crap, he's coming, Night King's gonna fight Cersei in her place and fuck him up.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought they were gonna lose. Because I honestly thought they were gonna lose.
Because I thought there would be consequences for Cersei. Essentially, what has happened, I don't know if you've seen the last few episodes, but Cersei was supposed to send her armies to help with like the Night King, because this is humanity. Like they're coming for you. And she was like, oh yeah, I'll totally do that. And then she didn't. So I wanted there to be some consequences Night King wise for her. Like originally the theory was that they were gonna lose the wall, but then retreat to Westeros and then fuck everybody up. So that was like the original thought, but now that's not happening. So yes, she is going to get yeeted, and I look very much forward to it. But it's going to be more of a situation where it's more political instead of talking. Like, you know, it's going to be more of like some of the sneaky shit, or, you know, maybe it'll be a straight up battle, and like she gets like yeeted by Jaime, which would be great. But
or like a fucking dragon, because they
maybe a dragon's going to eat her ass, like.
Yeah,
that
I mean,
would be great like, too, but
that's the way
I wanted the Night King consequences to hit her.
No, I get, because like I feel like if you're the way she's been like through the series, like I feel like, oh well, okay, the dragon makes sense for fighting this, but it's like now it's just a dragon versus a bunch of humans again, and it's just dragon's pretty OP, man. Like if did one of the dragons die when it was getting piled?
There's only one dragon left, which was a theory that I had would happen. But what's interesting is another theory that's going around is that there's signs that Daenerys she's kind of showcasing some Mad King vibes, and there's potential. The only dragon that's still alive is the one that Jon Snow was riding. Okay. So there's a lot of potential that she's going to go mad for power, but and like show just like her father or father, uncle, whatever family situation, and she's going to be so power hungry for the throne that somehow she's going to die, and Jon, who is, you know, the quote-unquote rightful heir, will get the throne. But my hope is if that happens, he doesn't want the glory, he doesn't want the throne. He's going to either give the throne to Sansa or Arya, but I think it would have to be Sansa, because she's the one that's been leading in Winterfell. That's the Jean
Grey girl, right? The red hair?
Long red hair.
The one who was in the pit with Tyrion?
Yes.
Okay.
So like that's kind of the running theory that I'm kind of with, especially because Daenerys has been one of my like high key favorite A-list characters for so long, but in these last few episodes she's been showcasing what her real like little slips of that greed and like that desire for power are showcasing. And even in the last season, like the way she so nonchalantly would murder people that wouldn't like bend the knee to her. Like there was one scene where she killed our boy Sam's father and brother for not bending the knee. She got her dragon to straight up fry them.
I remember that.
Yeah, fry them, yeah. And so there's been a lot of hinting that she's going to go mad and that the throne won't be given to her because, like, she'll go mad because in her bloodline, the Mad King was her father, and she's like, I'm nothing like him, but, like, it might do, like, a cycle thing. So that would be really interesting if she, like, went full-on mad and then... like the dragon doesn't listen to her anymore. It only listens to Jon because Jon is also a Targaryen. So that would be really cool. But then like if the throne actually
she's
went
fucking her nephew. I forgot about that.
Yeah. But then if Jon doesn't accept the throne, oh yeah, they know now. They're not fucking anymore because she got angry when he told her that they were cousins. Her first thought wasn't "I love you." Her first word that came out of her mouth was, "That means you're the first male heir to the throne," which means she's only about that chair. Okay. Like, and when she was talking to Sansa, one of the big points there that happened in that conversation was Sansa was like, "What about the North? Like, are people this and that and that?" And Daenerys immediately took her hand away because she was trying to get close to Sansa by telling her, "I love your brother," all this stuff. But then the minute Sansa was like, "What about the North? We are like, what are you going to do for us? Like, what? Like, you know, these are our people. We promised that we would never bend the knee again." And like, you know, it's kind of becoming a thing about that. And Daenerys was immediately like defensive, like, "This is my chair," like, and so there's a lot of signaling that Dragon Bay might not be okay. Okay. That's kind of the vibe. And I'm curious to see where they take it, but I'm hopeful. But yeah, one thing that definitely, on one hand, I'm happy because that the show wasn't as dark as it could be, because I love all these characters, and of course I don't want to see them die. But on the other hand, Game of Thrones for so long has been a show that consequences are very in your face.
But don't they bring people back to life? Like, didn't Jon Snow get brought back to life?
The only time people have been brought back to life is when it came to like the Red Woman. Jon Snow, and there was one other guy that got brought back. So there's very specific cases of plot armor. But essentially, in this recent episode, only like really B-list characters got murderfied. We thought we were going to lose some really big A-rank characters, like some big plot-heavy characters. Yeah. Like, Brienne, you mean?
The one who's that armored, the stormtrooper from Star Wars. Is that her?
I didn't know that.
The silver stormtrooper? The one... Have you seen The Force Awakens or Last Jedi?
Yes, but I didn't know... I don't know who you're talking about, though. Okay. Are you talking about Brienne? Is she the tall woman that has blonde hair?
Blonde hair.
Yes. Okay, that's Brienne. Yeah. Okay, she was a character that I wanted to live, and so I'm glad that she's here. But like, we lost the last of the Mormonts, we lost our little girl, and we lost Jorah, who was a big loss. He's like a B+ character, if anything. But I don't know if I could consider him in the A rank, because like Jon and Daenerys are like the big boy plot armor characters, which we could still lose. I see it being Daenerys. We could probably lose her in these next 3 episodes, but it's a slim possibility based on what I'm seeing in this episode, in that they didn't take away like they could have. Like, I thought we would have at least lost a Stark, or even Tyrion. Like, I know his story's not done yet, and I'm glad he's still here. But because of how hyped up this episode was going to be, I thought we were going to see some serious deaths and consequences. So I was, relieved on one hand, but also like that Game of Thrones spirit feels a little dulled. And of course, I'm here for the tea that we're gonna get in these next 3 episodes, but a part of me is a little empty inside.
Yeah, who is that Arya was making out with in the upcoming thing?
Oh yeah, that's Podrick.
Who's that?
He is the bastard son of
What's he look like?
He's just a tall white guy that's kind of got a shaved-ish head.
Okay.
Meh. He's the bastard son of fucking whoever it was, Cersei's ex-husband, who was the king. I don't remember. King Robert? I think it was King Robert. Yeah, and so, like, plot points, and he and Arya, like, went through a lot together, and so it was a cool moment. Although I was one of those people that was, like, kind of Googling, how old is she again? But, she's a grown-ass woman in real life and in the show. Yes. She's she is, I believe, in real life, she's 20. And I believe in the show, she is, like, supposed to be, like, 22 or so.
I thought she was, like, a little kid.
No, when she was first introduced, which in the show was, like, 10 years ago, she was about 12 or 13. 10 or so years have passed. So they had
time skips?
I don't know if time skips necessarily. I mean, maybe it's been a while. But time has definitely passed, like, on her journey. And it's about 10 years later. Just throughout the show moving forward. So she is, I believe, in the show about 22, and in the in real life she's 20. So like the actor for Podrick was very respectful about like the whole thing too, because like he watched her grow up essentially, and so when people were asking him like, so how'd you feel about like the sex scene, were you wanting it, and he was like, well,
wait, what? They had a sex scene?
Yes.
Arya had a sex? Okay.
Yes. Yes. So essentially, the actor for Podrick, who's about 10 years older than her, was like, I mean, I've seen her grow up, so I wasn't, really necessarily wanting it. But when the producers and stuff came to us saying we were going to do this, and when Arya was when the girl that plays Arya, Maisie Williams, was very like, yeah, let's do this, he was like, I mean, I'm not going to be condescending to her. She's a grown-ass woman that can make her own decisions. I'm just going to, and she's an actor doing her profession, doing her job. So, of course, we're going to do this scene, and I'm just going to be there to support her through it. Like, that's because this is the scene that we're going to do together. Mm. And I have nothing but respect for her as an actress and as, like, a person. And I think we did a good job. But no, I wasn't necessarily looking forward to it. I think she's a wonderful person. Like, he was just very respectful about it. And, she was also very excited, I think, to do the scene, like, for Arya to explore that side of herself. Mm-hmm. Because Arya, for so long, was never seen as any type of sexual being because probably we knew her as a child but it's interesting to think like, yeah, people grow, people age, people have these desires, even if they don't necessarily like look like what the standard of womanhood or whatever is. That doesn't mean humans are not sexual creatures that don't experience and desire those things. So like she did it in a very Arya style too, where she was just like, take your dick out. Like, it was very, like, bitch, Lego.
Okay. Oh, well,
it was great.
Good for her.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, oh man, we've been talking for 45 minutes about these two. I would like to move on quickly to talk a little bit about Persona 4, and then we can get to our questions.
Okay.
If that is okay.
Yeah, by all means. This one's all you, because I've never played Persona.
Yeah. So, guys, over the weekend, and I'm going to make this one brief because I'd like to get some questions, but I just have to let you know, while I was sick, and for the past few weeks or so, I've been playing Persona 4. I'd never played it before. I've never really played a full Persona game. I was fucking addicted to this game. Yukiko is my best girl. I maxed her out. I put about 75 hours into the game and then I beat it. And it was a wonderful, amazing experience. I love all the music. I look forward to playing more games, possibly cosplaying some in the future. And but I didn't get the true ending, which I was sad about. So I Googled what the true ending was, and I watched a 30-minute video about the true ending, and I was crying, oh, it was so beautiful. But I just want you guys to know Persona 4 is such a beautiful game, and you should play it. And it brings me such joy and love and happiness. And oh my gosh, it was so great. And yes.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
This was a very busy weekend for fictional love.
I played Mortal Kombat 11, and I can say that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so this is my fast game moment. It was interesting they had to do this time travel thing, and that's usually the thing of oh, you run out of ideas, time travel, so let's just do that. So they did it. It was cool to see the old MK characters interact with the new MK characters. Game's good. Cassie Cage is still bae. Jackie Briggs is still hot too.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of stuff that was a bit hit or miss, huh? And then there was I would say it was a decent game overall, but the strongest point of Mortal Kombat is never the story. I've been saying that since Mortal Kombat Deception. It's just always been just a bit meh. So I would say a fun game. Would recommend it. Fatalities are fun as hell like usual. They took away the X-rays, so you can only use one per match. And yeah, it was a fun game. And then my boy Jax, who I'm named after, that was pretty dope. Yeah, I think it made him pretty awesome. So there we go.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna take us to our first question. We probably aren't gonna go over as many questions in this episode, but next week we will have our full spread of questions. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to ask this first one, and we will see how it goes. We'll just keep it moving, keep the train rolling, keep the ball cruising.
Yeah.
So this first one says, Dear Katy and Jordan, thank you so much for all the effort that goes into making the podcast. I love it. I enjoy it immensely, and it gets me in a great mood in the mornings. And I just want to say thank you for saying that, because that makes me feel really happy. And it says, here's my question. How can I get myself to let go of things? Best, Zach. Z-A-K, which is a really cool way to spell your name. Hell yeah. So, and it had a little bit of a long email in there too, but it was essentially just saying like he
well,
was having a lot of experiences. Yeah.
What are the cliff notes of it?
Yeah. He had a lot of experiences where he was not able to let go and hold grudges, and it was kind of affecting him, and he wanted to kind of know how to really handle that stuff. And I want to say something before we get into this. I realized that a lot of our episodes, we answer some really deep questions that therapists might be better to answer, but so we are not certified. We're just doing our best saying what our life experiences have shown us. So if there's ever a question that you feel like is actually like legitimately like this is something that is super harmful and affecting my life, seek professional help. Like it's okay.
There's no problem with that. There's nothing wrong with seeking therapy.
It's amazing.
It doesn't make
I've
you
done
crazy
therapy
or anything like that.
Like yes, there shouldn't be a stigma. Like it's cool to ask people on podcasts these questions. Like, and I'm down for answering them to the best of my ability, of course. But just I really wanted to preface: we aren't professionals in that field, but we are professionals that just live in life, and we're only human. We can tell you the way we can maybe do it, but you know, we might be a little different than you, and the way we do things might not be what helps you. So, you know, just wanted to preface that a little bit because I really love a lot of these questions that are coming in that are very deep and emotional, and they're actually for next week's episode we have a really good plethora of them in the email, and I would love if you guys would love to keep emailing us like situational questions or any type of question because I love answering them. But it's also okay if you need to seek other help, but we will totally give our perspective, and we really, or at least I really appreciate it coming in, and I appreciate the love.
Right. Same.
Yeah.
I do. I'm just tsundere.
Yeah.
So there we go.
Jack's just tsundere. But yeah, Jordan, how would you answer this question?
I was kind of hoping you'd go first because I have a problem with like grudges like that. So like, because I've mentioned this before, people like, I'm very happy with the stuff I do and the stuff I like certain things. Like I'm happy with my career. I'm happy with my friends. I'm happy with like my family and stuff like that. But like, I go to therapy because like I'm just always angry like every day. Like it's just like a thing where I go and I know what it is because I have like a lot of repressed anger issues from when I was bullied as a kid, and I have to deal with that. And so like what I do is I always just like, you know, I work out, I meditate, I do stuff that makes me laugh. Like I go look up puns, they make me laugh and stuff like that. But again, it's just like constantly like a banner thing of just like I'm always angry. But it's like a thing where because I know some people, they take that and it's like, oh, he's always angry, let's fuck with him. And it's just like, yeah, no, that's not a good idea. But it's just like, it wouldn't matter if I don't like really care about you in that sense. For me, if Katy was just like, oh, I know Jordan gets angry easily and I'm going to say this to him because it'll make him mad, then it would hurt me because I know her. I'm like, she's a close friend of mine, I think. And then, but like if it's just some rando on the internet, it's just like, hey, you fucking bitch with your bitch voice and stuff like that. It's just like, dude, do I know you, kid? Like, what's going on here? Like, who are you? Well, why is this? Mind your business. Yeah, go shoo away. Yeah, funny. Yeah. It's just like it doesn't have any effect unless I know and care about the person. But like, so what I always do is I try to, because I would be remiss to say, like, I'd be a bit of a hypocrite to say, like, oh, I don't hold grudges. Because sometimes I notice myself holding a grudge. Like, it could be, like, something so small and be like, wow, I can't believe my friend said that about me or to me. And then, like, I'll just start overthinking it. And I've actually called Katy sometimes. So I'm just like, Katy, I'm overthinking about this thing right now. And I'm feeling like I'll grab my stress ball and, like, I'm getting upset. And it's just
We've had many midnight conversations,
past
on both
midnight,
ends.
3 a.m. conversations about this stuff. But, like, I love Katy. She's great. But, like, it's a thing. What I do is I try to recognize the fault and I look at it logically. Like that's the first thing you got to do is take emotions out of it. Look at the situation logically. Yes. Did you act like what caused you to act this way? Are you right for your grudge, or is it something that you feel like, well, I sort of do that thing? All right, so you look at it like this. So like someone brings up something that's a truth about you, and in a way that you didn't like, and now you're thinking about it like, how dare you bring that up about me? Only I can bring that up about myself. It's just like, okay, look, you have this personal issue that some people may consider like, oh, that's a little interesting thing about them, and now you're just like, what? How dare you say that? But if you learn to acknowledge your flaws and take them like like freaking Tyrion even said this is the first episode of Game of Thrones, like wear like armor and they can't hurt you. It's just like I know this is my problem. Like I have a problem where like some people don't know this, but even Katy, I don't know if you know this or not, like, but I have a bit of a speech impediment because when I was a kid, I had a really bad stutter from the bullying days. So sometimes I'll mix up words and like talk over myself or something like that, and it's just like a bit of a little speech impediment when I'm talking or something like that. You may hear it in some of those things. It's just something if friend brings it up and it's just like, wow, dude, that kind of hurt. But like someone random brings it up, it's just like, it's just, you know, shit happens. I can't really do anything about it. I'll just work on getting better. So it's just like as long as you focus on improving, that's what you can do. Like never strive to be complacent with something, like, because I think that's the problem. We live in a world today, and not that this part is sort of bad, like where like we coddle a lot of things where some things don't need to be coddled. It's like, no, you can improve and be better. It's just like, like if someone's like making fun of you or something you don't want to change, that's fine. Like it's you're like rectifying that, right? But if you like someone brings up something that you can change, and you mentioned you wanted to change, but for some reason you decide, oh no, I'm good the way I am, and then people are like, oh yeah, you're fine the way you are, then it's like I feel like that can be a bit coddling, a bit damaging to like someone's personality. Like I honestly think it's better to just be like, okay, like because sometimes it's good to have a friend who's there for you when you need this. Like there's this great moment we were talking to a friend who was like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, I can feel like crap about myself, I look ugly and all this stuff, and then like you say, look in the mirror, and then it's just like, what do you see? Oh, I see you, a piece of shit. And it's just like, well, I see my friend, and don't you dare fucking talk about them that way. So it's just like, you know, something like that. That's how I perceive it. So I just say, like, you know, focus on bettering yourself. That's my opinion.
And mindfulness is also something important.
Right.
That, like, my therapist had told me before when I was in a situation that was not very good situation, and I just kept thinking about it. And I am not a perfect person. I do, to an extent, hold what I guess could be interpreted as like a grudge. Like, there are people in the world, I mean, not to the point where I would want to actively go do something. Like, it's not that kind. It's not that kind of grudge. It's like, it's just I have certain people that I associate negatively with that I don't want to be associated with them, and sometimes I just have flashbacks of the way that I was treated, or the way that we had an experience that was not a good experience, and how I felt hurt and how they hurt me, and so have stuff that I've not been able to fully let go into the ether, but I've also had other situations that I was able to let go into the ether. But what helps me in those moments where those memories come back is trying to practice mindfulness and trying to like look at your thoughts as an observer. Like, let your thoughts come to your head and say, oh, look, those are the thoughts that I'm having. Like that song from Steven Universe, Here Comes a Thought, and you just watch it.
Yeah, the meditation song.
Yeah. And you observe it, and you're just like, okay, there it is. And if it's persistent and you feel yourself having emotional reactions to it, which is normal and will happen, it's just important to really take a look at it and analyze it and say, you know, it's okay that I feel this way, and maybe there's no way to really truly get rid of this feeling except with time, as much as that sucks, whether it's a breakup from a friend or a relationship or just with a situation in general. Just taking the chance to be like, well, here I am now. What can I do to fix it? If there's nothing that you feel can be done, if you've done what enough for that situation that you feel there's nothing else to truly be done aside that wouldn't hurt you, and you have to distance yourself from it, but you still feel those lingering like grudges or regrets, but you don't feel realistically there's anything that can truly be done, that's okay to just say, hey, I'm trying to let go, and I'm not gonna be good at that every day. I'm gonna have weeks where I don't even think about it, and then I might have a relapse where it really fucks with me. And just in those moments, practicing that mindfulness of here's where I am. Here's how far I've come. Here's the people that love me and that are here for me. I'm not alone. I'm not insert whatever thing about the past that they say I am or that I think I am, if you don't actually think that you're that way. Like criticism, one quote that I saw too that was really inspiring was like, don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from.
Right.
Like, and also, not that you should never ever listen to someone that you wouldn't, like, that isn't straight up like,
a good person.
Yeah, or what's his name from Avatar: The Last Airbender? Uncle Iroh.
Aang. Oh, Iroh.
Like, just because they're not Uncle Iroh doesn't mean you don't have to listen to him. But like, one thing that Chuck Huber had said at a panel a while ago that I talked about on the podcast a while ago was about like criticism. You can hear criticism, you listen to it, you let it into your home, but you don't have to let it spend the night. You can be like, okay, I'm reflecting upon this. I'm seeing what changes would need to be made to fix this. Is this actually a problem? Is this their vanity or their hubris speaking, or is this my vanity or hubris holding me back? Like, having those real conversations with yourself, it's okay if you don't come to the same conclusion as that person, as long as whatever it is not damaging another person or whatever. Like, we all have our things in life that are going to stick with us. And, and understanding, like, if this person is toxic for you, if this person isn't someone that can have a real conversation with you.
Right.
Like, that is another important thing to understand, especially when it comes to those grudges. Because in a perfect world, anytime there was negativity, we'd just be able to swoop it away. But that's not how it works.
Yeah,
and
in a perfect world, you could just put the hands up and go beat each other up and knock out the system. That's how it works. Yeah,
that's life. But yeah, that's, I think, the best way that I could say is it's not going to be every day you're just feeling great about everything. There's going to be situations where you might still have these lingering negative thoughts and feelings towards another person, whether that's in the form of an active grudge where you actually want revenge, which I've never been in a situation where that's lasted a long time, at least, where I've truly wanted, like, to get back and, like, oh, this person. I've been in short-term situations where after something immediately happened, I've had thoughts of like, oh, I hope that they understand this thing they've done, and I hope that they have consequences. But I've never thought it more past that. Like, I've never wanted to do something to another person or wanted something like physical or whatever to happen to somebody. I would mostly just be like, oh, I hope this person feels sad. Like, oh man, I hope that when they go to sleep tonight that they're like, oh, I'm
You're
sad.
so innocent, Katie. I really do appreciate it. Like, every time you talk, like I respect you to death, like I do, and I love you to death. But it's just like every time you talk, it's just like, I gotta keep you safe. Like I
must protect.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've been through some shit, but like, I think my initial reaction to a lot of the shit I go, like, one of the flaws that I think exist about myself is one of the ways that I react to certain things is I get more, I don't know if regressive is the word, like I go more inward than outward. Like, I go more into myself instead of putting it outwardly. So like, in the situations where I do a confrontation, which is rare, or where I do like a sit down kind of thing, that's hard for me, which,
right.
You know, it can be hard for a lot of people, but like, I typically go more inward. And that can be a flaw at times, because sometimes it's hard to know when should I be having a conversation, is this the battle I should pick, like when does the battle end? Like, having those conversations can be difficult for me, right. And unless it's someone that I'm really truly close to. Like, when it comes to people that I'm very close to, it's a lot easier, right. Like, actually really easy. Like, I can just be like, oh hey, here's how I feel. Oh, that's how you feel? Cool. And then I genuinely feel like that feeling passes, and that's a wonderful feeling. And I know that there's some people out in the world that can do that with anyone, like anyone that they're close to. If they have a problem or whatever, even if they're not close, they can be like, hey, here's the situation, and then they'll be like, oh, cool. And like, right. that's great. And so that's one of my biggest flaws that I genuinely try to work on a lot. And I've had situations where I've put myself in an uncomfortable position in order to be the person I think I needed to be. Like, if I needed to tell someone, hey, this is something that's been going on, and I want to tell you to your face. And if it didn't turn out right, it didn't turn out okay, it was better than doing nothing. Because no matter what situation you get yourself into, like, nothing will change if you do nothing. But after you do something, there's no guarantee that it will be better. It will just be different.
Right.
So I guess pulling it right back to grudges, if there's someone out there that you hold this grudge towards, if you do nothing, time can erase it, but you'll still have those feelings unless you have conversations with yourself, or if it's a person that you truly don't feel like you can comfortably go and speak to or whatever, like just understanding that if you can try to forgive, not for them, but for yourself, like Katara in Avatar The Last Airbender, when she was facing the guy that murdered her mother, she didn't forgive him. She didn't even say, like, I forgive you or anything like that when she had the opportunity to, but she also didn't kill him. She was just like, for me, I'm just going to leave this situation because I don't have to forgive you. Like, even I can forgive myself, I can forgive all this stuff, but I don't owe that to you. And she was able to move on despite those lingering feelings of hatred and that desire for revenge that she so craved. And, like, yeah, I may be retelling it wrong, but just go watch that episode where Katara confronts the guy that killed her mom. I think that was one of the moments in life that really, like, that was a really good episode for me.
And it wasn't for me because I'm this way. But listen to everything Katie just said. That is a thing. That is a good... I mean, like, everything Katie said, I agree with to a point. Like, I wish I could follow along with it too, but I agree with everything Katie said. Like, for me, because I'm more of a no, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
And like
yeah.
Yo, sorry, what were you saying?
Oh no, I said Jax, you go more outward.
Yeah, I'm more outward. Like, I'm just like, yeah, just it's just like the best revenge is great success. And I mean,
yes.
like, you're not gonna be, I mean, hopefully your grudge isn't where you want to, like, physically end someone's life or something like that. I really hope it's not that way, because that's just that's like a therapist question if it is. Yeah,
definitely.
You don't want your life over for that.
That is way above what we have the ability to answer.
Yeah. But yeah. Listen to what Katie said. That's what I said. Listen to what Katie just said right there.
And speaking of said movies,
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you take us to our next question, Jordan?
Okay, next question. Let me bring it up. Oh, God. Sorry. Click. Yes, what movie or series are you most excited for this year? That comes from Bree L.
Well,
Bree L. I guess that's sort of like someone naming their kid Katy Lynn. Oh, wait.
Hey. See what you did.
So what are you excited for, Katie?
I'm trying to think, because we just saw Avengers Endgame, so that was like a big one. And then, well, Game of Thrones, there's still 3 more episodes, so I am still pretty excited for that. Mm-hmm. And then manga-wise, I mean, like all the new chapters associated with Promised Neverland, etc. Like that keeps me going. That keeps me excited. Is the Guardians of the Galaxy movie coming out this year?
No, I think they actually might push it back because I think Marvel, after Endgame, is just like, yeah, we need a break or something like that. But I'm not. Yeah. Don't quote me on that, because I know after Far From Home, that's the end of Phase 3.
Yeah. And then oh man, I can't even think of what I was gonna say. Heck.
It's okay.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. Like, because I think movie-wise, there was one I was thinking of, but I can't think of it now, and now I'm sad. Yeah,
Godzilla?
I think that was about 2? It there. Oh, those are actually pretty cool. I wouldn't mind seeing Frozen 2. It's not exactly
Toy
like
Story 4. Is it a movie or is it a
Yeah, there was one that I was like, oh, Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars. Is the
new Star Wars coming out this year?
Yeah, that's coming out the end of this year.
Yes, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's one of those movies. I'm like, I just need to see how it ends now.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah,
for
those
me,
are some things.
Biggest thing I'm hyped for is Don Blumen Kilometero. I've been super hyped for this show because, like, if you've been following me on Twitter since 2017, I remember Jake Everfree, he actually sent it to me on Tumblr. And I was like, Jax, have you read this? It's about fitness and titties and personal training. And so I was like, ooh, you had me a titty. So I was just like, fitness. And I was like, I started reading it. And I fucking fell in love with this one. It's like, honestly, my favorite, because it's literally about these girls who go to the gym and they meet these like trainers and people there, but it's very anime as, and like they go through and explain exercise, like this is the squat, this is the exercise that helps you benefit this way, this is why it's important, this is what it does for you. And the way it's done, like the comedy is just so on point. Like Sakura Hibiki is the main girl in it. I love her character, she is hysterical. And then there's this girl called Akemi who's like got a muscle fetish, so she just drools over every guy who's just super jacked. And then there's other great people who show up who are like boxers and Russian badasses. It's just like, I love it because it's like, the thing is, it's just a simple slice of life show about going to the gym, working out, picking up there's certain things I look at and I go, oh my God, this is so true, because I've been a personal trainer since 2010, so I know this is actually true what they're saying. There are certain little aspects I go, that notion of things is a bit outdated, but like I cannot wait for it. I have so many videos planned for when it comes in July. I'm just so hyped for it. Cannot wait. Like, I can't wait. Sakura Hibiki, when she comes, I'll be so there. But after that, let's see. Godzilla King of Monsters, I'm super excited for.
I saw a trailer for that.
Oh yeah, I've been avoiding them because I just want to meet, like, I just want to go into it fresh. I avoid trailers like the plague now, because like I know trailers can like show all the best scenes and stuff like that, so I just like try to avoid them. But Godzilla King of Monsters looks hype. Toy Story 4 is one of those movies I'm just sort of like, I guess I have to see it, but I don't see why you're being made, because it's just like Toy Story 3 is such a perfect ending. Like, it's a perfect conclusion. You had the perfect trilogy, so I don't know why you're trying to, I guess, get that money, but yeah, I'll go see it. Like, I'm not looking forward to it, but I'll
is Detective Pikachu coming out this year?
Yeah, it is. Like,
I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, Detective Pikachu is like one I'm really hyped for too. Star Wars is just sort of like, because I'm like going back to rewatch Last Jedi, I'm sort of mixed on it for a number of reasons, but now I'm just like, I just want to see how you finish. Like, I'm so curious about how you finish off this series.
Yes.
It's just like, how is this gonna go? Like, that's the big thing to me. But is the Sonic movie coming out this year? Yeah, it is.
I'm excited for the memes.
I'm curious how that movie is gonna look, so I'm interested. It Chapter 2, I'm excited for. That's coming out this year. Child's Play, I'm curious how they're gonna do My Boy Chucky, just as a remake. I'm interested in. My Hero Academia Season 4, because my boy is going to get his time to shine, and I can't wait to see him. It's time.
I've let myself fall a few chapters behind in the manga again.
You always let yourself fall a few chapters behind. Every time we talk, it's just like,
I'm about 8 chapters behind, but I'm always caught up with The Promised Neverland. And One Piece, I'm getting there. I am on volume like 76 or 75.
Yeah, so you're almost close.
Yeah, I'm getting close. Like, because I'm on chapter like 750 something, and there are totally about 924 chapters out right now, I think. So by the time I get caught up, there will probably be about 930 chapters, because like it'll probably be like 4 weeks or so.
Right.
Or whatever. And so yeah, I'm working my way through. I'm in Dressrosa right now. We're going through it, Jordan. Yeah. It's a lot right now. Yeah. It's a lot.
Get it.
But when I catch up, it's going to be a celebration. Like, I'm probably going to have to buy myself a cake or something, cuz like I've been reading since last July. I thought it was since last December, but when I like looked at the timeline of when I first picked up the volumes to really start from the beginning, it was last July, because I had gone to the library to pick them up to go to a con, but then it turned out my mom was in the hospital for something, so I had to go. So I canceled the con trip, and I went to see her, but I already had all this manga, so I just sat in the waiting room reading One Piece, and of course she was fine, and she's great. But that was when I started, was last July, and I'm like, oh my God, it's almost been a year since I've embarked on this journey, but it's possible, guys. You can also catch up on One Piece.
Yeah. Exactly.
You can do it. I could have been done sooner, actually, but I've just been spreading out how I read it. Like, sometimes I'll go like a week or two without touching it, and then I'll read like 2 volumes, and like so everybody can go at their own pace, but it's taken me a while, but I'm getting real close to this journey being done. But speaking of journeys and experiences, question mark.
Right.
Why don't you take us to our next question, Jordan?
But didn't I do the okay, yeah, fine. You're right. You're right. Alright, okay, let's see. This comes from Psionic Jojo. Both shows I like. Alright. Oh, it's a deep one. Hey, Jax and Katy. My female friend broke up with her boyfriend, and I gently want to console her since she feels like crap, but I feel like it's going to appear like I'm making a move on her when she feels her lowest. Now, don't get me wrong. She is very attractive and a great friend, and maybe down the line something could happen that I wouldn't personally mind. But for now, I'm strictly on friend mode. Is there any way for me to be there without it coming off like I want my turn, even if I'm genuine? Or should I just let her be with her good girlfriends and stay out of it for a couple weeks? Ooh, so I feel like me and Katy gonna have two different answers on this one.
Oh, interesting. I mean, then Jordan, why don't you give your answer first?
Okay, so for me, this has happened several times. Like, this has happened. Oh, God, this is the story of my life, child. What is your name, Psionic Jojo? Oh, God, this is one of those times where, like, you have an attractive female friend, right? And you're like, oh, yeah, like, we're just friends. We're cool. But then, like, they break up with their boyfriend. And then you're just like, oh, shit. Well, I mean, like, I would go and console you, but, like, it would look like this, and all the people would be like, you know, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make a move. And it's like, no, I'm just trying to be there for my friend, you know, just trying to do that. And then, you know, something happens. So, like, honestly, from my experiences, this happened with, like, God knows how many times. If they call you, be there for them. Of course, like, be there for them and stuff like that. But, like, if you're going out of your way, just like I think like you know, you just send a message like, hey, like I'm so sorry this happened. If you need anything, I'm here. You know, stuff like that. That's good. But like, don't go like, oh my God, let me come over and talk. Let me do this, do that, do this and that thing. Because even if you have the purest intentions, now I'm just speaking for outside people, because this is so fucking annoying. It's just like, oh yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, well yeah, he's totally trying to make a move because, you know, shit like that. And it's just like, guys, I'm just trying, or girls, I'm just trying to do that. So like, if she has like good girlfriends, like good female friends near her that like are like, I mean like good friends, so like if you're her bestie, then yeah, that's like a thing where I say, by all means, support your best friend. Like that's it. Like it doesn't matter if you're besties, go support your best friend, like no matter what. Yeah. But if she's just a friend and then something like that happened and like, you know, she's already got like best female friends or something like that, then I would let them take it for like a couple weeks, and then just, you know, you're like, how you holding up? But how you holding up, champ? You doing good?
Yeah, I think that the context of your relationship trumps the sex of your friendship, or, you know, like by gender or sex and stuff. Like, and what I mean when I say that is I agree with Jordan in that, like, if you guys are close friends, it doesn't matter if you're a boy or girl. If you guys have an established connection of trust and respect, then go be there for them. And they would know, like, hey, we have this connection that of like, we are friends here, and I know that they wouldn't do this because I trust them. If you have that level of relationship, yes, by all means. If you aren't really that close, like, and you know them, you know it happened, but you've never really talked about that stuff before, but you know that they're hurting and you do want to try to put a hand out there, I do think, as sad as it is, that realistically it could be perceived, especially if it's the next day, because I've been in situations where somebody that we've maybe talked like 3 times, never about deep stuff, but the next day after I like changed my Facebook status or something, I would get a message from them like, hey, if you ever need to talk, I'm here, smiley face. And I was like, whoa, like it definitely fell off to me, especially with the emojis. Like, God, I mean,
don't use emojis.
That's a whole different science. But like, yeah, I think it's important to understand what your relationship is with this person before you go asking for their personal business, because it's a vulnerable time for them too. Because I've also been in situations where somebody was asking for details about my breakup and like they weren't trying to like hit on me. I definitely knew they weren't doing that, but it felt like we weren't really that close, but I definitely didn't get a vibe that they were hitting on me. But they were asking some questions that I was like, I don't want to talk about this with you. I don't know you. I don't know if you're going to go share this information with somebody. We don't have that established connection of trust. Like, and it was in a public setting too. They were like, so what happened? Tell me all about the breakup. And I'm like, no, I don't want to give you that information. That's not your business. Like, I'm not trying to be an asshole right now. Just, I don't think that this is a boundary that we've crossed before, and I want to talk to people that I love and trust right now. Not that you're not a great person, not that you're not a wonderful human being, and I'm sure your intentions are the finest. But yeah, first case, please understand what your relationship is with this person. So I talked about, if you're really close versus if you're not that close. But if you feel like you're in the middle ground, if you feel like, we've like talked once or twice before about like deep stuff too. And like, we hang out all the time, but we mostly do it in group settings, or whatever your situation is, but you feel like you're kind of in the middle. You don't feel like you're in the hot seat of like friendship, but you also don't feel like you're an acquaintance. I think that can be a play about your situation. Definitely being formal, I think, can be oh no. There's a phone ringing. I'm just gonna let
How
that
dare
ring out.
you?
How
This is
dare.
Jordan time. All right?
How dare.
Hello?
I wish I could
No,
stop
answer it so I can say hello. Me?
Stop ringing, phone. I hate you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just let it ring. Who cares? Oh, now it stopped. Yay. But anyway, yeah. If you're in that middle area, I think it's important to just look at the situation, and if you're gonna put it out there, like that you want to be closer and be there for them, definitely proceed with caution, because it is a vulnerable time. And even if they don't necessarily interpret that you're flirting or whatever, it could be easy for them to just feel vulnerable and not want to talk about it right now.
Exactly, because I know, like, especially like if your friend is like a quote unquote like attractive girl, like like a hot girl or something like that, and then like they bring it, because like I know I had incident a couple years, well, not me personally, but I knew someone who had a thing where they were quite attractive, and they had broken up with their boyfriend low key, like, but they were like in the public, so it's just like, oh, they're always together and stuff like that. Oh, but it's just like they broke up, and then like they told me that the reason they didn't want to like say, oh yeah, I'm single now, is because like all these guys would just be trying to hit on me and just trying to like do all this stuff, and it's just like, yeah, that's the fucking thing, because like there's a bunch of guys like, milady, well, let me tell you something, this is why it's like a job application, so I heard you about the guy that sucks, but anyways, this is my qualities, these are my verifications, and this is why, and it's just like, bruh, just let it be, just let it be.
I think an important thing to say that it kind of just came to my head is that if you're wanting to get close to someone, whether it be the opposite sex or whoever, I don't think the best time to try to transition your relationship from acquaintance to friendship is while they're going through a breakup, in terms of that being the way that you do it. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is, like, if they're going through a breakup and you're like, oh man, I really like this person and want to be closer to them, I know, I'll say that I'll be there for them if they need to talk. That's probably not the way to advance your relationship. If before this is happening or whenever you do other stuff with them not related to their relationship stuff, and then you get to that level, that's one thing. And if you're maybe in a face-to-face situation and they want to talk about it, that's also different. But reaching out through messaging or calling when you're not the closest of friends, in order to try to become closer through that situation, that is not the time to do it. And I think most cases it will be interpreted negatively, not necessarily as flirting, sometimes maybe, but like also just like, I don't really know you that well, I feel uncomfortable, I feel unsafe right now, because they might be in a very vulnerable place. Mm-hmm. So I think keeping that mindset in your brain is something to consider, even if your intentions are great. Understanding where your relationship is right now, because this isn't about you, it is about them. Mm-hmm. And so not putting your desires above theirs. Mm-hmm. And yeah. And then empathy. Like sometimes you just like, you make a post asking who's your favorite voice actor, and then they'll respond, oh, I like this, and then like you get into an 8-year friendship or some ridiculous thing. It's true. True.
Good talk. Well, we hope we helped you out, Psionic JoJo, and I hope you have a better day. But speaking of days, you want to take this one, Katy?
I'll take it away. Okay. So this comes from let's see, Matt Matojo.
Matt Matojo.
Matt Matojo. I don't know.
Matt Matojo. That sounds
Matt
funny.
Matojo.
Matt Matojo. I'm sorry, Matt, if you're listening. Matt Matojo.
As we're saying it wrong.
That sounds fun to say.
Matt Matojo.
Matt Matojo.
It says, Do you ever miss the days where you didn't have to care about dieting, or do you prefer eating healthy on a daily basis? Jordan, I think, has a very simple answer here.
No, look, let me tell you something. If I could just look the way I do right now and not give a shit, like
it's true.
the Captain America Super Soldier,
it's
just like, oh, it's not a competition. I mean, like, I do like eating healthy. Like, for instance, I'll say this. Last week or the week prior when I was at CommandCon, I ate nothing but Whataburger all day, but I stayed within my macros, so I was able to actually get leaner eating all day, and it was great. But the thing is, like, after eating that stuff for a while, I kind of want to go back to eating healthy because I feel like a slob and it makes my chest hurt, and I don't want to, deal with that stuff. But I just love the taste of food. Like, for instance, eating
same.
like to me, when I was like a chubby little kid, I didn't give a shit about my diet. I would just like literally eat donuts and cakes and cookies and pie and soda anytime I wanted. But now I'm just like, no, that's not good for me. It's not healthy for me. It's just gonna make me feel like shit. It's gonna make me sluggish. Like, I notice that with foods, like, it just makes me, I have like I feel good about this. I have a well-tailored body now that's like full of like energy, and
he works hard for that butt.
Stuff. And yeah, I do, baby. And I'm just like constantly like training and moving around, and I have energy to do it because of the sustenance and the nutrition I put in my body. But if I eat something like a whole pizza or like, Popeye's fried chicken or burger like all day, while I will enjoy it, I will become very lethargic and slow, and I won't be able to like effectively move. And I hate that feeling. Like, I just hate that feeling of just feeling like, I feel like I just weighted. Like, I had this like thing where I'm like sort of like a healthy ghoul from Tokyo Ghoul, because like I remember I went to Burger King, which I fucking hate Burger King. I worked there for 6 years, but like we were there, and like I got a burger, some onion rings, and I think like a Coke, and then like an hour later I just Ralphed all over my bathroom because I just made me feel like, it's just like it's weird. Like, my body rejects unhealthy food. Like, it depends. Like, if it's really good nasty food, I'm like, no, you're keeping this down. But if it's like, bad stuff, I'm not interested in. But like, I would definitely, I do miss it. I do just miss like eating whenever I wanted to, because now I'm just like, I should probably eat like these at night. I can't have ice cream every single day. Well, technically, the thing is, I can eat unhealthy every day, like, because the way you lose fat or build muscle is literally just like either being in a caloric surplus or being in a caloric deficit. I could literally eat, and I have done this before. I've done tests with this before, where I just ate like junk food for like my meals throughout the week, and I still lost fat because I was staying in a caloric deficit, because that's all it is. It's just being in a caloric deficit. You will lose fat regardless, but my energy levels felt like crap, and also like after a week my chest started hurting, and I was just like, I don't want to do this. My chest is starting to like, I'm starting to get heartburn and all this stuff. So I don't think it's a good thing at all. But I do like it. I do miss the occasional donut stuff like that. But I do like eating healthy. But if I could eat just like unhealthy and it wouldn't affect my like organs inside, and it gave me the same energy, by means I would take that.
Yeah, my answer is pretty much the same as Jordan, I guess.
Even though you're always eating cookies and cakes on your freaking Instagram, and oh my god, guys, I had this cookie sandwich, and it was so good. I don't eat as healthy as Jordan
on the regular, but I do try. But I fail a lot more often than Jordan probably does.
I'm going to eat this delicious pie right now, and I'm going to take a selfie, and I'm going to put it on Instagram to spite Jordan.
I have a very major weakness for sweets, and like, I wish I could eat what I love to eat and have the body I desire, because I'm definitely trying to lose weight. And
what's the last thing she put? She put freaking pancakes on her Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
I had French toast, guys. It was so good. And then I had like
love
some
sweets,
bacon
my dude.
And pancakes. And then I had this donut that was delicious. And I'm just going through her thing right now. And I'm just like, every time she posts it, like during a weekday, I'm like, Katy, why are you doing this to me right now?
Yeah. So I would love it, but I'm working on it. I need to eat better. Actually, the other day for dinner, I had like some fruit and some yakisoba, and it was really good.
That sounds good. Well, except for the fruit part, because I can't eat it. But,
Oh, right. I had pineapples and strawberries, and you never know.
That would be murder for me. You went to that strawberry fest. That was like a kryptonite festival for me.
It was great. Yeah, that would not be good for you. But it was a really fun experience. But yeah, I think that's a really good place to end today's episode.
Yeah. It is.
I think we talked about a lot. We got a few questions in, and Next week we'll be back stronger. Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. If you would like to submit a question, you can email us at weirdflexbutokaypodcast@gmail.com. And the music you've heard in every episode so far is by What's My Name on Instagram and SoundCloud.
I like this music.
Yeah. Oh, Elmo's back. Elmo, I want to tell him where I can find myself on social media, Elmo. I'm on KaniDay. I'm on Creepy Productions. I'm on KaniDay Official on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. And
cool.
And Weird Flex But Okay Podcast is on YouTube and SoundCloud and iTunes. And on Twitter, you can find us at Weird Flex Pod. Elmo, where can they find you?
You can find Elmo on Sesame Street, but right now you can find Jordan, Jaxblade, and you can find him on Jaxblade and Jaxblade Fitness. And
What did I tell you?
Elmo,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Okay,
Get out of
here.
All
Jordan.
right, so anyways, yeah.
Elmo
you can find
totally
me.
hijacked. Yeah, where can you find you,
You
Jordan?
can find
Elmo
Jordan
was
Jaxblade Downs on Facebook. Jordan on Jaxblade everywhere else. Jaxblade everywhere else. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there you can find me, people. You can find me. No, get out of here, Cookie Monster.
No,
What
Cookie
the fuck are you
Monster,
doing?
no! Don't
No,
do it! Quick!
no,
We need to end
we're
the
going
podcast
home.
before the Sesame Streets take over our streets.
Yes.
Yeah, we have to get out of here.
What are you doing here, you damn frog?
Hold on, I've got a knife! I've got a knife! I'll get him!
Oh my God! Why am I surrounded by puppets?
Die!
Get him by, folks!
See you next time, folks.
Oh, Kermit.